Hello, dear friends, and thank you so much for joining me for this Torah encounter for the sake of the people of Israel. Just by turning on this recording, you were part of the tidal wave of Torah that the Riverdale Jewish Center family is trying with all its heart to dedicate to the peace and the security of each and every citizen of Israel. Adjusting expectations. A fascinating passage in the Torah reading for Parshat Lech Lecha. Abraham, who is promised great things, leaves his ancestral home by way of Haran, comes with what seems to be a multitude who have attached themselves to his great message, and he comes to the land of Israel, Vayavo Artza Canaan. When he comes to Israel, he enters, he goes to Shechem, he goes to Elon Moreh, and then strangely the Torah says, V'hakanani oz ba'aretz, and the Canaanites were in the land. Well, the truth of the matter is, Abram comes to Eretz Yisrael, he doesn't seem to do anything. Only in the next verse, when Hashem speaks to him again, and he says to him, L'zaracha etenes ha'aretz hazos, I will give this land to your descendants. Now this is good news and it's bad news. Good news is your descendants will inherit the land. Bad news is definitely not now. And yet Abraham swings into activity, and for the first time he goes public as an adherent of the one true God, and he builds an altar. Vayiven sham mizbeach l'Hashem hanireh elov. Because he suddenly realized that a dream can be deferred. Someday the land will belong to his children. The fear, Hakanani oz ba'aretz, that right now there's nothing for him to do because he's an alien and possibly endangered. But once he realizes he's holding this problem, he also says to himself, you know what? I arrived in the land of Israel, and no one has bothered me. I've come here, and these people who are so different in their beliefs, in their customs, no one has attacked me. Clearly, I am already under God's protection, and I can start doing things. I can build an altar. I can proclaim my connection to Hashem. And I will go from place to place. And in each place, I will leave a blessing for the children who will someday live here, who will someday need a miracle to survive some crisis. You know, friends, Rashi plugs in these visits to all sorts of events that would come later in Jewish history. Joshua's conquest of the land, the confrontation of the people of Shechem after the violation of Dinah. But that does not mean that all of the blessings planted in the land of Israel by Abraham on those faithful travels have been expended. You know, around the world there are places where once upon a time armies planted landmines. And every once in a while you hear of a tragedy that one of those mines has blown up. But the land of Israel, our Israel, is a place where not landmines, but the blessings of the patriarchs and matriarchs have been planted deep in the soil. And so even as we face these terrible, trying, dangerous, frightening times, we should be aware that in that holy place, the fathers and the mothers of our people walked and paused and prayed and blessed the children who would someday own that land, and reserved with God protection when they would encounter danger. May the merit of the patriarchs and matriarchs of Israel, may they blossom as protection and blessing for our brothers and sisters there now, so that even as those who mean them harm do their worst. We and the Ribono Shel Olam and the ancestors who loved him and loved us will stand strong and safe. Thank you for joining me.